In this video, we'll be looking at the Magicka Templar's rotation in both single target and AoE. Since our spammable is considered AoE, we won't be changing too much and this can be used interchangeably. Similarly to the Stamina Templar, we're going to have to be casting really short lasting damage over time effects, and in fact we have two of them that last 6 seconds, so this rotation is going to be very fast paced, and in actuality we don't have a true rotation. A lot of this is going to be watching your buff timers or debuff timers on the enemy, which luckily you can now do on both PC and console with the buff tracking tool, and then we'll be using 8-second damage over time effects on our back bar. So this is going to be a little bit harder to manage than Stamina. However, we do have the luxury of not having to cast Purifying Light twice per bar because we don't have the benefit that Templar has with Power of the Light, which is Minor Fracture and Breach. Instead, we get a heal out of this that lasts an additional 6 seconds, so you don't have to worry or stress about keeping this up nearly as much as you do. So, similarly to Stamina Templar, we want to drink our potion before we begin the pull. You want to let that get to about 20 to 30 seconds left before you engage. This way you have your buffs running, and then you can drink it sooner in the middle of combat to get some resources back. Also make sure you have your ultimate to pull, and then we'll also be pulling with our buffs and debuffs set, which are Channeled Focus and Elemental Drain. Now I'll begin with my Thunderous Rage, Light Attack, Power of the Light, and then begin placing my dots on my back bar, and then bar swap. And then I'm just going to be watching my buffs, what abilities need to be recast, and then bar swapping whenever my elemental blockade and whatnot are about to fall off. So since I also have to manage elemental drain for myself, our rotation will be slightly different than what it would be in a group, but that's okay. So again, a lot of this is just watching these buffs and debuffs. Usually you're only going to be able to get 1 to 2 jabs off per bar. If you have a healer in group who's able to give you more synergies or whatever, then you can probably do 3 at some times. Remember, it's the same as the Stamina Templar. When in doubt, jabs out. You don't have to worry too much about some of these abilities being maintained perfectly. You get a lot of free damage from your spammable puncturing sweeps, and it heals you. So it's going to be super helpful for us. Drop our ultimate. Go to apply our buffs on our front bar one more time, and then we're going to go into execute, where instead of managing jabs, we're just going to be casting our execute radiant oppression instead. So I'm not going to recast Power of the Light since this target's going to die, but normally you'd be managing that until about 15% on a boss. But there we see 37k, nothing to laugh at, so hopefully this has helped. Remember, manage buffs 1, manage debuffs 2, and then when those are both met, go into spammable. Above 20% health, you'll be using jabs, or if in AoE, you'll be using jabs the entire time, and then below 20% health on single target, you'll be using Radiant Oppression instead. And then for your execute phase, you're only going to be managing Purifying Light between 20 and 15%. Then between 15 and 10%, you'll manage Blazing Spear and Blockade, and then from 10% and beyond, you'll only manage Blockade so that you can help with off balance and doing extra weave damage. Make sure you weave in between each and every one of these abilities, even if it is a buff like Channeled Focus. Hope this has helped, and I'll see you guys in the next video.